Welcome to this week edition of Lear Radio. We got a very special guest here to not only educate me, but hopefully educate the masses. We have Lauren Eichberger, who is a Ph.D. student, and she's going through the process of immunology
There
at
you go.
the Michigan State University. How are you doing today, man?
I'm great. How are you? Happy to be here.
Hey, I'm happy for you to be here because I know that I have a ton of questions. I know a lot of my peers have a ton of questions, and maybe you can help facilitate some of these answers regarding this novel coronavirus and the possibility of a fully vaccinated civilization. Okay, so I guess to just ask you point blank period off the bat, should people take the vaccine?
Yeah, that is the question everyone wants to ask right now. I think so, unless you have a religious reason or a medical reason that you cannot take it. I don't see why you shouldn't take it. Just like any other vaccine, you can take it and prevent your own disease, like prevent some disease to harm yourself, but you're also preventing it from hurting others around you. So yeah, I recommend to my family and my friends to absolutely get the vaccine.
Okay, so this vaccine has been, this whole coronavirus has been something just insane, right? And there's still a lot of information that we don't know, but there's information that we do know. Let's go there for a second. What information do we know and fully understand about this virus? If you would, and I'm sorry to put you off the back. I'm sure you'll have your notes right there in front of you. But off the top of your head, what would you say?
So right now we know that it is obviously a coronavirus, and we know a lot about the coronavirus family. It's hard to say though, because this is such a novel virus still. We just don't have that data to fully predict what could happen. All we can do is base our predictions right now off of previous coronaviruses, but this one is acting a lot differently than the ones we do know about. So we're doing the best we can with it. We know that it can be very harmful. We know what age ranges it can affect a lot more than others. We're just trying to take it as it is and relay the best information we can.
Now you said that this type of thing has happened before. Is this a normal occurrence for humans? I think, obviously with this being the first time that we've had a worldwide pandemic on social media, but the history of pandemics, is this something that comes and goes? Will we make it out of this?
Yes, we will absolutely make it out of this. I mean, it happens all the time. Think about when we were in grade school and middle school learning about the bubonic plague. I mean, we have the 1918, 1919 flu pandemic itself. So it's been almost 100 years. Actually, it has been 100 years now since we've had anything like this. We had the flu outbreak in the 70s. And we had SARS, the first round of any coronavirus affecting humans in a long time, back in, I think it was like 1999, 2000. I mean, we've been around the block before with pandemics. It's just, there's so many more people now, and so many more people, I think, are afraid to trust scientists. And they're forming their own opinions without listening to the experts first. You know what I mean? I think that's a fair statement.
Like a Facebook post for me. You sound like one of my Facebook. Trust the experts. Okay, let's establish trust with the listeners and you. Okay, so you're a PhD student at Michigan State. Tell me just a little bit about your field and specifically, what do you study?
Yeah, so I am going to be a classically trained immunologist at the end of my studies. So in the next, fingers crossed, 2 years, but COVID has, of course, pushed, fingers crossed, COVID has pushed my studies back a little bit just with the shutdowns in our own lab. I focus specifically on a disease in cattle, but what I learn in the immune system can be related back to really any immune system. if you learn it in one, you basically know it in the other. It's just the names change here and there. It's all, and I'm taking all human-based courses, so I'm being trained to, how do I want to put this? Apply it to different animals as well. But my lab also focuses on influenza research. So my PI, or my boss, has been heavily involved in creating cell lines that are able to grow the influenza virus more effectively than like the chicken embryos that are currently used in a lot of other cell lines. So my laboratory itself, where I work out of, is animal-based, human-based. Anything that is learned in animals can be quickly transferred over to humans, and that's actually how it goes 99% of the time, I'd say. You learn about it in animals first because for ethical and moral reasons, you can learn about it in animals, and then you transfer that over to human medicine. So that's my basis of my knowledge, and I'm 2 years into it. I love it. It's great. So that's my background. Sorry, I just went on a rant. I love talking about it.
Yeah, no, we gotta. I think it's very important. I wish more scientists, and this is all disciplines, including political science, the general sciences, biology, physics, so on and so forth. Stop hiding behind the journals. Post directly to the public, as we always did as academics back in the day, and have your intellectual battles in the papers. Right? You look at the economists, the Austrians, and I'm forgetting the other group. They posted it out. They battled it out intellectually in the papers. So that I think telling people exactly what you're studying, so they can be like, oh, okay, in layman's terms, is very important. Very important.
Oh, that is so important. I mean, that's the basis of science. You have to be truthful in a scientific setting, but then you have to be able to bring that into your layman terms and explain it to the general population. I mean, that's why we're the experts in our fields. Someone needs to bridge that gap, and I'm hoping I can do that by coming on today.
And well, I hope you get a lot of good information out here. Let's go. You hit on something I wanted to talk about. We can go brief or we go long. Why is there such a distrust for science in the world today?
Oh gosh, like you said earlier, I think social media has changed just about everything we do. And I think that it's great in many aspects, but it's also harmful. I mean, you can put out so much misinformation that people are starting to learn that it's not okay to believe everything you see on the internet. But what if that one thing you read was truthful? So there's this, it's just so hard to tell what's true and what's not. And then people like I said earlier, they form their own opinions before coming to the experts. They hear about something on social media and they already have this thought process that they go through, and they say agree, disagree, and that's it. They don't go and they look more into it because they know that they'll talk about it later with friends maybe, or they'll see it later on, or maybe they're just sick of it. I don't know.
I understand. So let's hit on some of these hot button issues that people are forming opinions on online. Is it better? Obviously, we have the frontline workers getting the vaccine first. Is it better to, if a person is fully considering getting the vaccine, is it better to get the vaccine early or prolong it and wait, in your opinion? Or is that a myth? It doesn't matter.
For science sake, looking at the actual vaccine, the vaccine isn't going to change whether you get it now or you get it in a couple months when your phase comes around. That's not going to change. Social status, I think, is an important, not status, that could be taken way out of context. What your job is will keep the economy going, right? So that's why right now, I believe certain counties in Michigan are beginning to let grocery store workers, policemen, firemen get the actual vaccine, and school teachers and such, to keep that economy going, get our kids back in school before maybe the parents of the kids, or maybe before some of the grandparents of the kids that aren't at that age cutoff yet. So it seems a little backwards to some people, but we have to keep in mind, we have to keep the economy going. So it's that special balance of science and economics, I think. And that's where experts like Dr. Fauci take over, because that's a lot to process.
Yeah, I agree. Is there a rush on the vaccine? You heard also this vaccine was rushed. It didn't go through enough clinical trials. Is this something that what was your opinion on that?
So the vaccine actually went through more rigid testing and more tests in general than most vaccines would, because it was sped up. It was a sped up process, but we also put it through triple, quadruple layer testing where other vaccines wouldn't, because we would have had that long time. Most vaccines take, I think it's like 7 years to develop. We developed this one in basically less than a year. So time-wise, we didn't put that much into it, but what we got out of that testing is more than most vaccines.
And I think this goes to something that we talked about briefly earlier this week, with people's fear in comparing this vaccine to the vaccine that came on, I believe, the 70s.
79, I think.
79 during the influenza epidemic. Is the science truly that different today than it was in 79?
I don't think we knew the human genome in 79 yet. I don't think we got that mapped out until like 2001-ish. So absolutely, science has changed, and the whole basis of this vaccine is actually on the genetics of it. So that, it blows my mind. This is the coolest vaccine technology I think we've had since like the first vaccine ever was developed with smallpox and chickenpox. It blows my mind. I think this is, yeah, anyways, I'm going on a rant, sorry. You can edit that part out.
No, go into it. Let's go into it. What tell me about the vaccine. What's at the heart of the vaccine? What are we seeing early effects on humans, or what are we seeing?
I don't think we can say if there's effects on humans yet. I think we need to honestly give this time. I mean, we are able to speed up time to make the vaccine, but we can't speed up time to see possible reactions to the vaccine. Some people's immune systems will absolutely not accept it, and that's just how people are biologically, and that's the beauty of us, is we're all different and we're all individuals. So it's not going to apply to everyone, just like the influenza vaccine or the chickenpox vaccine. Some people just can't, their bodies just can't take it, especially people with maybe autoimmune diseases. Their immune system is already lowered as is. So to introduce something that to you and I may be fine, to them it could be deadly. So I think this vaccine is going to change a lot of how we create future vaccines, basically, is what I'm saying.
And that's amazing. Science is amazing. Let's never forget. Okay. And now are we gonna go back and forth?
Yeah, absolutely.
So going back to the practical side now, we're here now to wear 2 masks, when having it, and that being a better effect than just wearing a singular mask. And I've been seeing people go, they don't know what we should wear, because originally, I believe it first came out when everything first was happening. People were like, no, masks aren't effective. The CDC, I believe, came out, so you don't need to wear a mask. Then you need to wear a mask everywhere. Now it's 2 masks everywhere, right? Why? And this goes back to the trust with the science community. Why are they keep coming out with things like, okay, how am I trying to word this? I know it's one of those where you know how to.
I know, it's okay. Let me try. I think I know what you're trying to ask. So we're going with the flow too. So just like everyone else is getting frustrated with all these new mandates, so are we as scientists, because we think we had an aha moment and we do some more research because we want to double check that. And then we say, oh, maybe we did not evaluate that correctly, or maybe we just learned some new piece of evidence. Now let's try to reevaluate that and then see what happens. I mean, once we figure out something, we don't just stop and say, okay, yep, that's it, you know, we're done, we figured it out. There's more answers. Change one variable, see what happens, right? So we're always changing these variables and we're learning new things. And that's the hard part of this virus, is it's so different from other coronaviruses that we don't really have anything to go on. So we're starting fresh and we're doing the best we can and being very open with the public right now. So honestly, I haven't read much up on the 2 masks versus 1 mask versus no mask. It's very clear now that masks are going to help, but I can't speak too much on the 2 mask thing.
Right. And you made an earlier point of science with economics. Do you think that this is a case, in your opinion? Now, this is we don't have to be necessarily professional here. Do you think that the economic value of cities reopening outweighs the value of human life possibly being lost by this virus? Because my opinion on it, I'm before you answer, I'm gonna lay my opinion. So I recently visited Atlanta, maybe 3 weeks ago. Atlanta's wide open. I was out clubbing until 6 a.m. Full disclosure, right? And as I wrote my little travel log, it would have did Detroit a lot of justice to become the hangout spot during the pandemic, which is what Atlanta has become. Atlanta is busting, not only because a bunch of people from New York are moving down there because New York is, all these strict restrictions, and you see the businesses going up, right? But it's becoming a fly-in type of town where everyone flies in Friday, parties, spends a ton of money, leave Sunday, right? I spent in Atlanta, and I'm thinking, poli-sci, with a little bit of economic theory, that would have helped the town a lot. Imagine downtown Detroit, Greek town, being the spot to be all pandemic long if you want to have a good time.
I had my bachelorette party in Detroit, so I totally understand that. I love downtown. So I think a lot of it, though, comes back to people are afraid of Detroit, but I feel like you've covered that probably in a lot of other sessions.
So if you just be chill, it's really not whatever. But what do you say to that? Do you, as a scientist, in that field, is the economic value worth the human loss?
That's a hard question. And that's really that's something I'm battling with internally, it's challenging my morals because I'm supposed to be saving lives. I mean, that's what I hope my research can do one day, is I hope I can find something. I want to find that aha moment and change the world. I mean, who doesn't? But I know that if I were to go out, which I have, also full disclosure, I have been going to the bars in Lansing. It's a constant battle in my head. I don't know how to answer that yet. I'm still trying to figure out my own beliefs on that.
And it's tough,
Mm-hmm.
I got grilled this past week by my peers here in Chicago, but it's like, I fully believe that this is the new reality for at least the time being. It is what it is at that point, right? They often met with people are really dying, don't you know? Like, I understand that people are dying, but I don't know if it's being selfish or if it's like, I do want to support restaurants, so I'm gonna go to a restaurant,
Right.
I don't know. Like you say, it's something that we mentally are all grappling with in our head, and there's no right answer. To some people, the answer is set in stone: stay in the house, shut the hell up, don't move, Uber Eats everything. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't.
Right.
I got a party.
Yeah, I hear you. Trust me, I hear you. And it's hard. I think it's different being a scientist my age versus my boss, for example. He's been very careful, but he's also in that age group that could be at risk compared to me. So, yeah, I think that's a question everyone's trying to battle with right now. I think the biggest part of it, though, is people who are just being completely careless, not trying to wash their hands, not trying to wear a mask. I could go on and on, not, just going willy-nilly like nothing's happening right now. Those are reckless people, I think, because you could easily infect so many people along that route. I think there's a happy medium that we can come to now where we can go out, but let's wear masks.
I will say.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen those cartoons of like, you go and you sit down and you're walking to your table and you have a mask on, and then you sit down at the table and you take your mask off and the COVID virus comes along. It's a little cartoon and it tries to get into the bubble and it's like, oh, they're sitting at a table so they can't get it. I think those are hilarious because it's so true. I mean, you could easily spread it, but it's in an environment where it's less likely than being at full capacity in a restaurant. So that's the thought process behind those mandates. But at the same time, they're trying. I think the governments are really trying. But I don't know what it's like in Atlanta or Chicago right now. I mean, it sounds like Atlanta's
busting. Chicago shut down. I was just in New York last week. New York 10 o'clock curfew, strict as hell. Same thing here in Chicago. Detroit is 10 o'clock. Yeah,
that's what I think all of Michigan right now with Whitmer has it at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, but you really see it Houston's blessing, and I'm like thinking, me thinking wanting to be a fixture in the city, of course. This is the opportunity to open the world to Detroit.
Oh my God, yeah.
High-end town. Everybody comes here for the weekend. Damn the snow. Have a good time. Eat some of the best food that you can ever have in your life. Go to visit all the Coney Islands. Go race your Charger up, goddamn Jefferson. Enjoy yourself. It's just, and we're missing it. And we're missing an opportunity because we're trying to obviously be safe. So it's like, I don't know. It's a really human mentality that I have in regards to that. Like, we're all in a state of nature, and it's up to you to defend yourself at this point, in my opinion. But
so,
yes.
I'm curious now. What are the government parties in charge in those cities? Have you seen if that has an effect on if they're open or not?
Now, in terms of their Demo Republic, Atlanta just...
Because I'm thinking you're naming off Southern.
Right.
So that's where my mind's going is that, but I don't know. I've never been to Atlanta. I don't go to Georgia, so I don't know.
I hate the South in general, so I don't really care. I don't look them up, but I just went down to the party. But let's Google it. I think the mayor of Atlanta is a black lady. I'm gonna just say, let's start with a statement. I know for sure she's a black lady.
Okay.
So, and I think she's a Democrat, but I think what he's doing is, I think, in my opinion, and this is straight from the school of handling. If you're a politician in the city, you have to weigh the balance, right? And this is going back to the purpose of being liked and respected, and also, having an iron fist at the same time is the best way to go about it. And the modern politician doesn't want to ever give the public a reason to vote them out of office, right?
Right.
So if the public outcry to remain open is so strong, you got to bend. You have to, because the only job that you have as a politician is to get elected and reelected and reelected and reelected. That because people forget you get paid to do this job. The mayor of Detroit is a $200,000 position, even when we were in bankruptcy. I know. I can go into fucking detail about it, right? So I don't know
if that's a lot of money for being a mayor, if that's not enough money for being mayor. I don't know.
The fourth highest paid mayoral position in America, I believe. So if Detroit is fourth, I'm assuming Atlanta isn't that far. I'm assuming Houston isn't that far. So it's like, what can I do? What can I do? I don't want to be disfavored. Clearly, I think she bringing herself a lot of heat if she goes to these clubs and shut the club down with a full packed club with nobody wearing a mask. And she would ever be mandating, I don't know. That's just the way I feel.
It would be like what Whitmer's going through right now.
I mean, people literally tried to kidnap her, you know?
Yeah, literally trying to kidnap her. Yeah.
So,
But that being said, I was also at a local bar in East Lansing for lunch on a Monday because of blood drive. I was going to a blood drive and they canceled it. So my friend and I said, oh, instead of donating blood, let's go have a drink and lunch.
Right.
We're sitting in a tent outside with heaters, and the health department comes in and says, you have to open all the sides of the tent. And we're like,
that's excessive?
I thought so. I mean, I felt safe. We were the only people in the tent.
She ain't for the bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like, to what extent? I don't want her to become so disfavored due to her trying to protect people that we vote generally a decent politician out of office. You know what I'm saying? She's better than Granholm. She's better than Snyder.
She's fixing the roads.
Yeah, finally, right? So it's like, it's a balance that these politicians are facing. Do I put everyone at risk for the sake of my young millennial voter? Or do I disvalue those votes because they don't vote anyway, but they may, and close everything down?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think that COVID should be political though. I hate that it's politics.
I think it ran this election.
I would agree.
It became political, and I wonder how this would have changed with different people involved, you know?
Right.
I don't know, but that's just me now.
Oh, it's good. This is the book of 2020. I can't wait to read.
Oh, right.
I cannot wait to read it. Whoever write it, I really hope do a great job of covering everything. If it's 500 pages, I'll read cover to cover 500 pages.
You know, it's gonna be cool to do one day, especially in like our age of social media. Sit back and watch how they write our kids' history books.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they can't argue what happened. Because it's recorded. Everyone talks about it.
Yes.
I think that's gonna be so cool. Or terrifying. I don't know.
We maybe need to start a publishing company. Get them out of the South.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Swinging back. Okay. So I'm sorry.
That's okay.
What steps? Okay, go through your checklist if you can of how to best be safe on a daily with COVID. So mask, wash hands. What else do we have out there that may not be known what we can do to better increase our chances of not to get the disease, or if we have the disease, fight it off?
So this virus is so easy to kill, and it's kind of sad that our bodies can't fight it off because it's a dish soap could kill it. So to go into some layman terms, it's basically grease on a pan, and you know how the grease bubbles come apart with the dish soap? That's what this virus's outside layer is made of. So it's very easy to kill. So as long as we're washing our hands, like you said, disinfecting commonly touched objects. So like if you're having a lot of people over, or you know you're gonna have someone like grandma's coming over, just take the extra 5 minutes to go around your house and just like take your Lysol spray like your faucet, spray your doorknobs. You know, it's very simple. It just takes a couple more minutes out of your day. Wipe down your cart if you're going to the grocery store. Don't trust that others cleaned it. That's another big thing. I don't think it's fair to put that responsibility on someone else to take care of your own health. Your body is yours. You should take care of it. You don't have to rely on people to do that for you. We rely on people enough in our age. Let's take a little bit of ownership and let's just clean our own stuff, you know. Clean it after you if you want to like protect someone else, maybe a grocery store worker. I don't know. It's simple stuff. That's really it. Maybe double masking. I don't know, but I haven't read up on that yet. I'm interested to see the more of the literature on that one.
if an individual wants to read up on the vaccine more, is there any publications that you recommend, or on the vaccine, or just the entire pandemic?
I say don't waste your time reading the literature because it's not going to be in layman terms. The best place to read up about COVID and the vaccine really is the CDC website because they do explain it very, very, very well.
So before we hit the conclusion here, wash your hands, wear your mask, disinfect, get the vaccine.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can. When it's your turn, I mean, it's our civic duty to vote. Why can't it be our civic duty to get vaccinated?
Shit. That's a very good point. Okay. Wow, this has been great. Hopefully we got a lot of information out there to people. If anybody wanted to, just out the blue, DM you, hey, I enjoyed listening to you. What is a place where they can contact you that you feel comfortable with giving away?
I prefer that they email me. Do you want me to say my email or do you want to just?
Yeah, say it and then I'm gonna add it to the.
Yeah, so it's EICH, B as in boy, ER6, number 6 at msu.edu. Yeah, and I'll get back to you. I'm on my email all the time. If I don't respond within 24 hours, send me another email. That's totally fine because I get like 300 emails a day.
Yes, we all do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, before we close, do you think that, and now this is more professional, do you think that businesses will be proper to ask people to come back to work in person now that we've all worked from home for so long? What do you think? I personally think that we're going to see a steep decline in the building of offices and the uses of office space, because thank you so much for coming on today. Short notice, we were having a conversation, like, we gotta at least get some information out, and I'm sure we didn't go through. This is going to be 30 minutes, 40 minutes at the most. I don't have a timer. We don't have 5 hours to do all in the COVID. And as your dogs are over there, which great dog. Shout out to Chief. I appreciate you. I hope we get some information out to folks. And this has been awesome. Great experience. Go. I'm gonna say it. My mom gonna hate me. Go get the vaccine. Go get the vaccine.
Thank you for having me. Sorry about the dogs, but yeah, this has been a blast.